Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Valorant tier lists for VCT Americas 2026. Now this is a giga early tier list. We haven't even seen any of the teams play yet. So just a quick disclaimer that all my rankings are based off of whatever leaks and rumors are going around the community right now. And all this is opinion based, obviously. So if I offend anyone, I apologize. Okay, so let's just go in order. Starting off, we have G2, which is currently Trent, Valen, Jogimo, unknown for the replacements of Jonah P and Leaf, who are, according to rumors, leaving G2. Now, this is weird, right? In 2025, G2 obviously pulled off a three-peat. They were dominating domestically in Americas throughout the whole year. Now we're put in a position where we don't know who's replacing what I would say are two of their most important players. This is the first time I think we'll see the core of the guard in Trent, Valen, and Jonah P split up if Jonah P leaves. So this is an interesting one, and to me, losing players like Leaf and Jonah P, who have had massive impact on this team's success, is a big hit. While I still believe in Trent, Valen, and Jogimo, will they be as good as they were this year? Probably not. So that being said, I will put them in playoff contenders. And just to clarify what these tiers are, the question marks at the bottom here are for rosters that either haven't been confirmed or I know nothing about, or players I know nothing about. As for the winning potential, we're talking about winning the region, not winning internationals. And playoff content, I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, moving on. We now have Crew, which is currently supposedly meant to be Dante Deuce, Sarak, Les, MWZera, and Silence. Now, this is an interesting roster. We obviously have the reunion of Sarak and Les, who used to play with each other together on Loud. Not too sure about the MWZera pickup, if I'm being honest. But Dante Deuce and Silence, two very solid players, and mechanically this team looks good. But how far will they make it? Not quite sure. Do I think they make playoffs? I don't think they do. I'm gonna put them in mid. Now we have Leviatan. So we've got Sato, Spike, King, and then two unknowns. So obviously, without the full roster, I can't really put them as winning contenders. Sato, incredible player. Spike's incredible player. And King, I rate him very highly as an IGL. So what we will do is throw them into playoffs contenders, because I think that core, honestly, just really good. And these last two players are important, but I still don't see a world where those three miss playoffs, at least. Now, MIBR. Okay, this is more of the elephant in the room when it comes to Americas. Got Zekken and Aspas on the same team, Verno, Mazzino, and Tex. You can clearly tell that Aspas had a big role in making this team. Zekken was actually supposedly offered more money to stay on Sentinels, but him and Aspas wanted to play on the team together. Verno was Aspas' teammate throughout this whole year in 2025, and Mazzino and Tex played with Aspas in 2024 on Leviatan. My only concern about this team is Verno's IGLing, because we haven't really had much time to observe it. He's been IGLing for a relatively short amount of time. I think it was only for the second half of this year. Because before that, it was Artson who was IGLing for MIBR. Now, obviously, in the short amount of time that Verno has been IGLing, we can't really say that he's one of the best IGLs in the region. But mechanically, this team should not be allowed to lose, frankly speaking. So I think, regardless, they have winning potential. Now we have NRG, which is Ethan, Scuba, Mara, Brock, and Pico, which is an interesting move. I'm honestly really upset that as someone from EMEA, we let Kiko go to Americas, but replacing a player like Som for NRG, I think, is weird, because not only was Som a really intelligent player, I think he had a really big voice in the NRG team from whatever we heard in comms. I think Som brought a lot to the table for NRG, because, you know, it is mostly rookies on that team. But, you know, if you had to replace Som with anyone, Kiko is a good shout. This is an incredible player for those of you who don't know. I mean, they're the current champions. I don't think that they're gonna miss out on getting to a grand final. Now, who wins between MIBR and NRG is completely up in the air. It could be either of these two, but for the rest of them, I will be going in order of left to right, left being the strongest, right being the weakest. Now we have Sentinels, which is Cortezia, Redux, Caillou, John Cutie, and Narrate. On paper, this roster doesn't look terrible. What I will say is that I'm very confused about the roles. Supposedly, they're going to put Narrate on Duelist, John Cutie is going to be Flex, Caillou is going to be scan initiator slash flex. Redux is going to be on smokes slash flex. And Cortezia is going to be on Sentinel. Another thing about the Sentinels roster is that they are going to be making Caillou the IGL and not John Cutie, who will be stepping down from that role. Now, Caillou and Redux were obviously promoted from Sentinel's QOR Academy, and Caillou was their IGL for, I believe, the second half of the year. I didn't get to watch much QOR Academy near the end of the year, so I haven't seen too much from Caillou's IGLing, but I trust that John would not step down from his IGLing role if it wasn't an IGL he believed in, and so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And you know, John himself said that he stepped down from the IGL role because he believes in himself mechanically and he wants to see what he can do if he doesn't have to focus on falling and he can focus on shooting more, which I think is fine. But my issue there is that he could have been a generational side tanker, and he has been a generational side tanker in that 2024 iteration of Sentinels. Taking him off Sentinel now and putting him on flex, I don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, I will put Sentinels in playoffs contenders, but they maybe just scrape it there. Okay, now we have Envy, this year's VCT Americas Ascension winners, or VCL, sorry. We've got Inspire, Poppin, and Eggster, and now Ion and Kane Zera are not old enough to compete this year, so while Envy ascended, they did not ascend with Envy, and according to rumors, it will be Fluorescent and Curry who are replacing them. Now, if these rumors are correct, I don't think Envy will be as good as they were or could have been with Ion and Kane Zera. Do I think they'll be bad? No. But do I think that they'll make it to playoffs? I don't think so. I'm gonna throw them in mid. And obviously we haven't seen these Envy players play against tier 1 teams either. As of today, while I'm recording this, we are going to see them play against the current Sentinels roster, against QOR, and I believe the new Cloud9 roster, because there's going to be the Sen City Classic happening in a couple of hours. So I could eat my words here after watching that, but you know, that's the point of this video. It's a Giga early tier list. We haven't seen any of these teams play yet, so I could either look like the smartest person alive or just an idiot. Alright, now we have Furia. You know, the star child of VCT Americas. What I will say is that it's hard to downgrade from their performance this year. Sorry to any Furia fans, but what we have for next year in 2026 is Nerve, Alum, EU, Artsin, and QOR. Now, obviously, Nerve and Alum came from yours truly, QOR Gaming. We're just a tier 1 farm, you know? We signed Kest to tier 1, Nerve, Alum, just saying. What I'm worried about here, mostly, is again, it's another IGLing issue in the form of QOR. Even though Furia has Nerve and Artsin, they put QOR on IGL. And I'm not sure why that is. I know Artsin has voiced not wanting to be in IGL, that's why he stopped doing it for MIBR, but he can IGL. Nerve can IGL. QOR though? A player like that on IGL is interesting to me, and he will be playing smokes now, and it'll be Alum who's the primary duelist if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that they will make playoffs, not yet anyway. There's room to prove me wrong, but I just think I have no idea what to expect from QOR as an IGL, so I can't put them above some of these other teams. And while I'm here, absolutely criminal from 100 Thieves to drop EU, by the way. Huge pickup for Furia. Speaking of 100 Thieves, that's what we've got next, and they just announced that Cryo and Asuna will be re-signing with them, which should complete the roster of Cryo, Asuna, and Bang. Then we've got Timotino and Vora. Now, there will be a few role changes where Cryo will be playing Sentinel, and Timotino will be the duelist. I think Timotino will be the primary duelist, and Asuna will be duelist slash flex. Bang on Smoke, Cryo on Sentinel, and Vora on Initiator. This team is not terrible, to be fair, but they don't have winning potential, I don't think, Unless I see, like, Thanos performances from Cryo on a consistent basis. I don't see them winning Americas, but I think they can comfortably make it through the playoffs with what they have right now. Next up, we've got Loud, which is Luxio, Verti, Darker, Pankara, Kawanzin, and Erde. Obviously, we've seen Luxio, Verti, Pankara, and Kawanzin play. I don't know who Darker and Erde are, and I don't know why there's 6 of them that I saw according to leaks. And by the way, it's unclear whether or not some of these players will be staying, if I'm not mistaken, because there's been no, obviously there's been no official word, and I don't think there's been any leaks about re-signing contracts. We're just assuming that they're going to stay on this team. That being said, I believe it will be Pankara who's IGLing. I believe he IGL'd for a while earlier in the year before they got Robbie BK. I can't really say because I don't know how these players are gonna perform. We didn't get to see Verti for too long. He did look good while he was here. Luxia's an incredible player. Pankara and Kawanzin are incredible. But I don't know what to expect from Darker or Erde. So I am going to put them in the question mark category. That being said, we now move on to Evil Geniuses, who's just calm from what I know. They let go of Ye, they let go of Icy. I'm not sure what the situation is with Derek. I think they let go of Derek as well. And maybe they keep Nature, they probably will. So calm and Nature, can't really say too much. They are going in the question marks. Okay, now last, but, well, potentially least, we've got Cloud9, which is Zelsus, Vic, Oxy, Zeppa, and Penny. Now, this is an interesting one. They let go of their previous IGL Mitch for Zelsus, because Zelsus wanted to try IGLing. He said that he's been a big voice in teams he's played with before, where he's been, you know, one of the main mid-rounders. So he wants to try this whole IGLing thing full-time now, which is obviously something we've never seen before. And then we've got Penny, who was good in Tier 2, but from what I saw from him in Tier 1, it wasn't anything mind-blowing. What do I think of this team? Now, what I think about Americas is that no other team currently, other than MIBR and NRG, can win the entire thing. So, what I'm gonna say for wildcards is just teams that could qualify for playoffs. And that's where I'm gonna put Cloud9. What I'll do is I'll bring Leviatan down with them here. I'm not sure exactly how many teams qualified to America's playoffs. I don't remember the numbers, but I think it'll be like 4 or 6 at most. What we'll do is that because Leviatan has not completed their entire roster yet, or at least I'm unaware of it, we'll move them down here to the wildcards with Cloud9. This is what I think America's is going to look like before watching any of the teams play. Let me just order this around real quick. I can't really put Envy above any team in this category because obviously we don't know their last players. As for the playoffs contenders, 100 Thieves will probably be the strongest here, followed by Sentinels depending on who G2 picks up. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. That's the list. Feel free to disagree with me wherever, and I'm sure a lot of you will. Make sure you guys check out the QOR Gaming shop and use code QORcast for 10% off your purchase.